Emily and Geneva again for putting this incredible event together, because I think everybody feels the same. I'm so blown away and so excited to be a part of this. It does feel like a long time coming, and yeah, like kind of like a victory lap for the LitRPG space. So I'm really thrilled to be a part of it. I'm Julie Constantine. My title is Senior Director of Acquisitions for Podium Entertainment, and that means, oh, hello!
Just in time.
Thank you to our runner for helping gather the party. All right, so we're just doing introductions. So I am an acquisitions person at Podium, which means that I primarily work with authors. So I work with a lot of people in the LitRPG space, including lots of the authors that are here at the con, like Haylock Jobson and Sour Patch Hero, Jay Krause, tons of amazing contributors to this incredible genre. And what I also really love about my job is I get the chance to go and network, and I get to meet loads of amazing narrators, including everybody here who are just fabulous. And so I would love to give them an opportunity to kind of go down the panel, introduce themselves in order, and tell us, what we're familiar with you from, like where we've heard your voice before, because I'm pretty sure everybody in this room has heard you before.
I unfortunately don't have access to the individual thoughts of everyone here, so I can't tell you specifically what you might have heard me do, but I know, sorry. I'll work on it for the next convention. But I'm Heath Miller. Finish on a high. Say my name, I said it correctly. You didn't say the wrong name. You might know me from He Who Fights with Monsters series. And other books. Heretical Fishing, because Haylock is here. I don't think Chris is here for Downtown Druid, but Downtown Druid is another one I've got coming out this month. I'm excited to be here at the first one. It's so good to be like, I was there. First, when it began. So, yeah.
Hello, my name is Neil Helligers. What authors are in the room? Any of them? No. Probably best known for Good Guys, Bad Guys, Grim Guys, etc. Aspire, Human, Rise of Mankind, Jez Caggio, Walking Shadow by Jack Fields. He's here somewhere as well too. I'm trying to think of them. I'm not slighting anybody, but they're all wonderful. Books. That's a Jez Caggio reference. For the rest of the con, also, when you hear someone say "book," you have to drink. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Very happy to be here, especially having been president of some of the iterations that were talked about in the opening panel, about all the way back to Here Now Festival in Kansas City, through the Guildify cons, through all the other ones, and Jordan Con and Dragon Con. And now this is our con right here, down here. This is our con. Thanks very much.
I wasn't physically or emotionally prepared for the Goonies reference, and I love you guys. Hello, I'm Andrea Barstow. You might know me from The Wandering Inn. Azarin Peeler works by Daniel J. Shinhofen. A whole bunch of stuff. I like talking in a box. It's my favorite thing ever. So I'm all over the place. What else was I supposed to say? I think that was it, right? You know what? You go ahead and go, Jonathan. I've hit this. I think I'm good. I'm super excited to be here. This is the greatest thing ever.
My name is Jonathan McLean, and by the end of this year, it's been a weirdly busy year. By the end of this year, I will have 20 or 25 series that I'm narrating. Bog Standard Isekai, Ultimate Level 1, Big Sneaky Barbarian, a little series that I'm hopeful will work out is called Nuketown. That will go somewhere. It's not very good. Ryan, are you here? And I am the president of Justin's fan club.
Can I also say that you are a Podium author as well as narrator?
Meet your
You're
maker.
about to plug your book?
Fuck, yeah,
Multi-talented.
Yeah, so yes, I've written some other, I also write movies for a living, and so one of the books, Big Sneaky Barbarian, the author Seth McDuffie and I got along so well that we are co-writing a series. The second one comes out in October. It's called Meet Your Maker, and thank you. And it's actually, I'm super proud of it, partially because it's kind of the way that Jeff and I became like real homies. Like you listened to him was like, you know, let's be pals.
He's a huge fan.
Yeah. So anyway, so Justin, what's up with you?
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, friend.
You're the coolest guy ever.
You're the handsomest guy ever.
Should we just have a moment here?
I think we did.
All right, I am Justin Thomas James. I am a narrator with Sound Booth Theater, and you may know me for titles like Dead Tired by Ravensdagger, Alchemy Online by James Osiris Baldwin, and the Dungeon Crawler Carl Audio Immersion Tunnel. And the reason I'm late was because I was opening up the Sound Booth Theater booth over in the vendor hall. And we were trying to get the square up and running. And we were having some issues. And it wasn't quite working, and I look up, and the panel from this morning was out. And we had a straight view. I'm a tall guy, I could see over all of the booths. I could see straight down the hallway, and just the horde of people just swarming into the vendor hall was just this simultaneously thrilling and scary feeling that I just like, oh, we gotta get this square set up. So we got set up, and my goodness, it is so amazing to see so many fans driving out from all over the country, flying in from other countries. It's absolutely a blast. And I can't help just talking to everybody because it's so great to see you guys here. So thank you for being here.
So the next question, we have some prepared questions, would be to tell us how you decided to become a narrator and really when you realized that all of your silly voices had some kind of monetary value. And do you want to actually start at Justin and work our way back this way?
Sure.
Keep it interesting.
Okay, silly voices. So in high school, I got to be a part of something called theater sports, which was the improv club in school, and a lot of the time, we would have a couple of rehearsals or practices and just get to know the games. And I think I started to really realize that I had a thing for voices because every Friday we would have an actual show. People would come into the auditorium, they would watch us perform. And sometimes you'd get on stage and you have no idea what you're doing, but you just walk out there and you're like, I hope something comes, I hope something comes, I hope something comes. And usually the first thing to indicate a character for me would just be something crazy with my voice. So I just step out onto stage, have the fear, and then go, ah! And then that informs the scene. That's pretty much it.
So I started out my career doing theater in New York, and then I got very lucky. I was an actor on a TV show for a few years, and not a lot of people watched it, but one of the people who happened to watch it was Lee Child, who writes the Jack Reacher books. And they were Audible, when Audible got bought by Amazon in 2012, and they were like, make every book an audiobook that's ever been written. Some of his earlier books hadn't, and he was like, that guy from that show that I'm the only one who watches. And so I got sort of thrown into the deep pool of audiobook narration with these Jack Reacher books. And that was like great, because for me, sort of to the point of like, when did I realize that this was something that I felt was, I don't know, what that felt meaningful to me was, coming from TV and film, you're told what to do by everybody, and then they take your performance and then they chop it up, and you don't know how the fuck it's gonna look, and it's not really in your control anymore. And being in the booth and like having the whole story be mine and be my responsibility, like, stand on business, 10 toes down, like live or die by the performance. You know what I mean? It's like, it's either mine to succeed or mine to fail, but I really enjoyed that, and then got super lucky in 2019 that a little book called Nuketown fell into my orbit, and I was like, I like video games and telling stories. I'm in, and let's see how far I can push the limits of the microphone's ability to tolerate my screeching. And for some reason they haven't figured out yet that like this is all just a big scam that I'm pulling, and I continue to have it work out. It's been like the best thing's ever happened to me.
Was that your introduction to LitRPG? Was the Newtown?
Yeah. I got so wonderful. One of the very first people I've ever worked with at Podium, Emily Durr. What's her title now?
She's head of production.
Yeah, she's amazing. She reaches out to me and she's like, "We've got this series. It's called It's called the Newtown series. Mayor of Newtown's the first book. It's a LitRPG, whatever." And I was like, that is not a sentence. What does that mean? Is that English? That's weird syntax. And she was like, "It's like a video game and a thing." And I was like, "Okay." And so I read through it. And I was like, yeah. And that was my introduction to it for sure.
I do want to shout out our amazing production and casting team, because I think they have been true evangelists for LitRPG, introducing so many people in the narration space to the genre for the first time, so thank you.
I didn't know this was what I wanted to do, but I've been doing it for so long. Like when I was broke, I put a post on Fiverr that said I'd read a page of dialogue for $5. And that was like years before I started narrating. And I went to college for vocal stuff. I was a vocal major, opera singer, and I met an author friend of mine who said, "Hey, you know what, I think you'd be really good at this audiobook thing." I was like, "What's that?" You know, and I listened to nonfiction and stuff, but he said, "Yeah, no, really, check it out." I heard Jeff Hayes for the first time, and my world was changed. And did my first audition, sent it to Jeff to ask for exactly, like, acquainted myself, and was like, "What do you think of this?" And that God among men wrote me back an entire email breaking down everything that was good, bad, needed to change, and he was like, "You've got the chops, just keep going. Like, you got it." And I don't know if I'd be doing this if I hadn't gotten that affirmation. Like, he's incredible, so.
Me neither, yeah. Jeff is.
I'm in love with it. I'm a role player, tabletop player, gamer nerd, so this was just like, there's video games and books. I started narrating 2-2 LitRPG. This is the coolest crap ever. The rest is history.
So I was a theater major in college, and my intention was to sort of live and die by live theater, mostly Shakespeare. That's where I made a beeline for after grad school, things like that. Teaching it, never come to Crystal Peak afterwards. There's a Shakespeare workshop happening. But as it turns out, there's not like a lot of money in live performance Shakespeare, and I was moving to the point where starting a family, but wanted to be doing stuff, wanted to be working, and so I spent a while kind of doing lots of other kind of acting gigs that one can do living in New York City. I did a bunch of commercials where I was like the goofy dad. Modern Family was very popular, so everyone wanted to fill, so the dad, he's a big kid, and the mom really knows what the product should be, those kind of commercials. And some of the TV shows and things like that. And then it sort of struck me when I was like driving hours between home and the festival that I was working at. I was listening to audiobooks. I was listening to Frank Mueller did the Interview with the Vampire, the original recordings of those, and it just kind of clicked at like somewhere in Connecticut, like it happens. That this is what I should be doing. And at first it was kind of an initial, it came alongside other work, but then about 11 years ago, Tantor sent me a book called Perimeter Defense by Michael Anamonov from Magic Dome Books, and it was the same thing that you're all describing. I'm like, it's like, what do you mean the world is a game? Like, and this is sci-fi too. I kind of live and die in sci-fi a bit more than fantasy, even though I actually believe that game lit is actually all sci-fi. Ask me later at the bar. But there's a continuum, right? But I've been doing lots of different kind of books, a lot of nonfiction where voice work isn't really so much relied upon, and I did a lot of urban fantasy because my theater training was very helpful towards dialects, and a lot of urban fantasy is about the different cultures from the past coming together in modern day, and I love urban fantasy. But then with Gamelit, with Perimeter Defense, and with all of that, it's like, oh, it's that much more outlandish. And we were talking about this last night about how if you look back the audiobook industry. Maybe 15 years ago, if you listened to an audiobook, very different style from almost every audiobook now. A lot of that's representation in terms of doing accurate ethnic representation and dialects and things like that, respectful ones. But it's also a style choice. And it's been very interesting to see with GameLit about how the whole industry has come along with the growth of the way that we are expected to do these very specific funny voices. And I'm not saying GameLit was responsible for that, but I just did. So it's been wonderful to see and wonderful to have a partner.
I can answer this question in so many different ways because it's a question we get asked a lot. So in the 80s, there was a part work thing. I don't know if you know what that is, but that in a newsagent or you would have a magazine that came with a little piece of a house, a dollhouse, and then the following month you would get the next one with the next piece of the dollhouse, and you would make your dollhouse or your collection of bears or whatever by part work. And one of them was called Storyteller. It's called Storytime in Australia, Storyteller in the UK. And you got your illustrated book and a cassette tape. And you could collect all of them. Marshall Cavendish was the publisher. I believe if you Google it, some helpful person has put all of it online, which is very sweet and probably illegal, but sweet. I used to listen to that, and I just adored it. They had incredible voice actors like Richard Breers and Derek Jacobi, and just people who later on I would go on to then think, oh, that was the guy from that story. But I just adored it. So that was really my falling in love with voice acting. And I used to listen to The Goon Show a lot, because it was my father's one of the favorite things in the world. So I used to listen to The Goon Show, Spike Milligan and Harry Seacombe and all the rest. So that, and then I became a theatre actor, like Neil and others, and ended up moving to an island off the coast of Maine, and there wasn't a lot of theatre on that island of 300 people that I could do to pay the bills. And so, I started doing audio, and for LitRPG, I got an email from Podium saying, would you like to do a LitRPG book? And I said, I would. What is a LitRPG book? And that was Monsters, Volume 1, so, yeah.
What's the full title of that one?
He Who Fights with Monsters, a LitRPG
I think I've heard of that one. I've heard of that one.
I don't know if a LitRPG adventure is official, but yeah, so that's basically it. But everything they said as well.
That's amazing. So I don't think I've heard of this. What did you call it? The delivery, the
They used to call it Partworks.
Partworks.
Yeah, because you got each bit.
I don't know if we had that, but it's almost like you were primed for serialized storytelling in audio format, which is how so many of these books come into being. So it's kind of like destiny, maybe. Okay, next question. Do you guys have any favorite characters you've given voice to from a LitRPG book? And please feel free to demonstrate. My hope is that they prepared something for the class. Specific vocal challenges or delights, that kind of thing. Let's go back this way.
I just finished recording Heretical Fishing 4. And by just finished, I mean that I was literally recording about 15 minutes before I left for the airport. So I think there's a panel on managing deadlines, so I'll be in the audience for that panel, just sweating.
We appreciate it.
But anyway, there's a character in that new to this volume who is a sentient slime, and they mostly just say, is it too early in the morning? No. They mostly just say, hi! And I'm really enjoying slimes. Or they sometimes say, I'm a boy! Which I'm also enjoying. So currently slimes is my favorite one, even though it takes me, I kind of go, before I have to do it, just to, get in the slime place.
To be slimed.
I think maybe, are we identifying a trend? The book that I'm prepping right now to start next week is called Rise of a Monster, and it's about a guy who gets isekai'd, like they do, by a necromancer, and he immediately, upon being rejected by the necromancer as being a failure, he gets dumped into the flesh pit, necromancy, and he encounters a slime who the necromancer was having devoured the brains of the local peasantry in order to gain their secrets, and now has become a sentient slime. And a pronunciation thing. I got dinged recently for saying sentient. And because sentient is like the first one, but sentient is the one that I think of first as well too. So let's stick to sentient. I think, right? We're making a pact right here. But it's
I'm team sentient.
I kept it sentient.
Are we going to talk about Manamana? No, we're not going to talk about Manamana. But convert, and he's a very satisfying character, but a very different, because he's been eating the brains of the peasants in a world that is largely Anglo. He's just more like, I just want to eat everything in the possible room. And the skeleton, he's residing inside the chest cavity of the skeleton main character. And they form a symbiosis, and they currently evolved to a skeleton, or a gelatin. And it's good fun.
I love this coincidental, like, ecto-caring we have going on here.
It's gonna get worse in a second.
All about slime.
You know, the question
This is now the ooze panel. So,
I think this might be the next big trend, right?
Yeah.
That we're trying to speculate. It's slime books.
Well, and it's funny how they characters cycle around within the genre. And then I kind of keep like a repertory company of voice actors in my head that I employ for certain things with tweaks. And there's the ones that are like, an old wizard voice is the one I always come back to, especially when they say stupid shit, it's always, or like a really earnest Scottish accent is very satisfying to do all the time. And there's ones that so I'll make choices based on what the book demands or what the world is and things like that. But it's always nice to kind of like keep my favorites in there too. They keep you, when you're in a box for hours and hours, you do things to keep yourself happy as well.
Yeah, entertaining ourselves is like probably a good third of this job because you gotta stay involved. And to make this even weirder, so I workshop voices in my head pretty frequently when I'm like watching things or doing things. I like working with vocal placements and stuff like that to come up with new voices. And I had this voice in my back pocket for years, and I had never had a slime. I had never gotten a slime in a book, and I'm sitting there going, someday it will have its day. Someday I will get a slime. And then I did. And one day, like, I had Blurb the slime in Anticine's Legacy, and it's one of my favorites because everything Blurb says sounds so wet. And I love it. And I had that sitting there, and I just wanted to use it so bad, but I couldn't find anywhere else. Like, nothing else made sense than a slide. So finally, Blurb got to live.
He doesn't like manifest lips. Like, how do they?
No. He's basically just it's a blob that will just kind of rise up into a little head, like a little ball with an eyeball that just kind of floats around and talks to them. Hello, Xander.
I love the technique of your bottom jaw just going side to
It's tongue and jaw. It's weird. Yes, exactly that. So yeah, that's fine. I waited for the day I got to use that voice. But I'll do that. I have like I'll come up with a voice, and someday it'll pop up that it's like the Antinium, the Drakes, like that kind of thing. I like monster voices a lot, because I like thinking about anatomy and how that would affect how they speak. So I get a kick out of it.
Slime story, Jonathan?
You do slime as well?
There's a slime. Yeah, you do.
I have a couple of gelatinous homies and a couple of the series that I do, and I just decided that one of them is like Winston Churchill but with a speech impediment. So I don't even know how the fuck do I do it. It's kind of like and I mean it's barely intelligible like that. Favorites. I mean they're all like. Because I tend to get a lot of sort of comedic trending books, it's super easy to go big and fun and do cartoony stuff. I mean, like because I have a series that I write, I have to plug my series, but also like I write in the pocket for what I wanted to do, but I also set myself up for potential catastrophe. Like in Meet Your Maker, the sidekick, the familiar, is a sentient, there we go, there's kind of a blend of the two, Mexican turbo snail, and he is described as sounding like Danny Trejo, so I gotta do Danny Trejo. In book 2, I have a character who I wrote this, it's my fucking fault, she sounds like Bjork, so now I gotta do that. So, they're all my favorite children.
I can definitely relate on the monster and working on lots of comedic projects. And it's so much fun to have, you know, grounded characters that, you know, are kind of holding the plot together, and then to have just one wild, crazy character that you can just completely contrast on. I am leaving the slime route, but I'm going to stay on sentient. I'll stay on sentient, okay?
We'll give it to
so, sentient hammer.
Okay, you're forgiven.
Bloodthirsty, warmongering hammer that just loves to kill things and wants to level up as much as possible. In the hands of a very like down-to-earth, like even-tempered, you know, kind guy. But I grew up, some of my earliest memories are from watching Sesame Street as a kid, you know. And when I first came across this hammer, all of his text is in bold. All of his dialogue is just in bold, and this is from a book called Riftside that we just produced the first audiobook for. It's available on Audible now. Plug.
And the voice that I went for this character, his name is Brock, and he loves blood. He just wants to smash heads in all of the time. And come on, Piper, get into a fight faster. I just want to level up, please.
This is why I'm the president of your fan club.
That, of course, is the voice of Alamo, so thank you.
I do think it's like one of the hallmarks of this genre